that you have to like Jewish people when they want to write the word God, the name of God, right? Because he has name, right? When you want to write his name, you have to clean yourself. You have to how clean is that? How pure is he? You know what I mean? Yeah, that is how pure that.
Well, let me ask you. This is a really important question. So I was a Jewish chaplain's assistant, and I for a while in the military. How can the Jews, if Jesus says you can't know me, you cannot know the Father unless through me, can then the Jews know God? Can they really know God now?
I don't think
But
If
so.
Jesus existed?
I don't think so.
Is Jesus telling a lie or the truth? You cannot know the Father unless through me. So if the Jews reject Jesus, can they know God? And if the answer is yes, that contradicts what Jesus says. That's my question. Can the Jewish church know God?
I have one question
I
to
say
ask
no.
Larry
Thank you.
Howard.
I agree with you.
I have one question to ask Larry Howard. Is that true in Jewish, culture that they don't allow their children to read the Bible, like,
Correct.
right?
And actually, it's against the law. It's a
Mhm.
misdemeanor.
Why?
To preach
Wow.
the Christian church to Jews in Israel. Did you guys know that?
No.
I know. I just know recently. That's why I want to ask you because you will mention that you are used to like learn about this with those people, and I just like curious because I had that question too. Is that true? And like they don't allow them to read the Bible,
Yeah.
like kind of book that
They're antichrist.
Uh-huh.
Orthodox Jews are antichrist. And guess who's going to walk the anti-Jesus into the temple? Not Christians. Jews are the ones that are going to escort him. And this is not Jesus. He's our real Messiah because they're so antichrist. They're the Sanhedrins, They're going to walk him into the temple. The Jews.
That is will be
But I just want to say this. We understand, everybody will agree that experience I had is the greatest gift you could ever.
Well, you got to know.
And I'm not a Jew. Did you know? And I'm not a Jew.
You have 60%.
Are you sure about that?
16%, mom.
You don't have any Jewish
You
ancestors?
cannot deny that you have 16%. You know that is a blessing because when it's like the time you have to pray for Jewish people for
Yeah.
Israel. You know about that? This is so important, like to
You know what the first thing that Mom said when she got her genetic reading done?
She was so shocked.
She said, "Oy vey, I'm 16% Jewish."
But I tell you, that is why we got saved because you have the Jew blood.
If Jesus was here, he would have such a good laugh with us.
I think
For
so.
our conversation, he would.
I think that he is though.
And
look
he's
at,
smiling right now. He's praying.
look at
for
me.
what?
He comes up to me. I was so furious with Dan. And he puts his hand on my shoulder and says, "Don't worry, Angie. I'm walking right beside you." Oh my God. What an experience. What an
Well,
experience.
you had a real download.
I had another
What is the point to that?
enormous
What do you call
Well, the point is we're looking at the skepticism that Mom has because we want to share the gospel with her, and it's interesting and it's important for us to understand what her perception is, and to see how we can share what we know based on where she's coming from, because she's looking at all of these people that claim to be Christians that seem to be struggling with all the
sincere
same
at
foibles and they're imperfect, and she believes that based on that, the Christianity that they espouse to believe is not helping them,
Absolutely correctly
and that
put.
and subsequently she believes it's a fairy tale like the story of Santa Claus, and that
No.
there may be a real creator and a real God, but it's certainly not the one depicted in the Bible.
I would just say you have to be very careful who these people were who wrote the Bible. Why did they
What?
write it?
Well, this
Did
is
they
the
have
this
a
is the interesting point, and that's a very good point that we want to share with you. We do the Bible study, and that's how we answer all those questions.
But you see, what I'm trying to say to you, in one fell swoop, like Larry said, I had such a download that if there was ever a gift I could give you, this would surpass all the gifts immediately.
Yeah, that was better than reading the Bible 20 times.
Exactly right.
That download.
I could read it 1,000 times.
But
Not
I
that you
believe
should
that
read the
when
Bible,
you
but that-
pray,
That's very well put, Larry. Very well put.
I believe that when you pray and you ask God and you can experience that, you
But
know.
you know, they're not sincere.
What do you mean who not sincere?
Most people are not
The
sincere.
people have different background to me.
Correct.
People
yes,
have
absolutely.
different level of
Yes,
understanding.
absolutely. Yes, yes.
People, some of Christian, they're Christian, but the action is different. It depends the relationship how they are deep with God. To me, that is because if without God, I believe that when they said, "Oh, you're a sinner," right? If you're not Christian, you deny it right away. But if you really ask yourself, tell me that you never since you were born.
But you know, when I was a young man, I had a lot of money, fancy cars, fancy life, and I walked down that road and I met a lot of people down that road. And that road was not a good road. I'm not proud of that road. But you know, I look at my life now, and God had me go down that road to see what that road was like, even though it was not a good road, so that I can be a better Christian today. It was wrong. There was sinfulness of that road, but that was the road that I was on that made me a better Christian today. And everywhere these Christians are, whatever phase they are on the road, or you're on the road too. We're all on a different part of this road. Alex is on a different part of the road. He might be more advanced than all of us.
I told you,
Yeah.
I have the vision for Alex. He's gonna save a lot of people. I see the vision. I told Johnny, but Alex didn't know about it. But I said, I don't know. I was like, I feel the spirit moving, and I said to Johnny because he keeping praying for Alex, right? Because Johnny, believe me, God will save him, and he will be like evangelical. That is save a lot of people because of his life, his experience, you know, that we don't have it in this generation that he has. That is, he will bring all the new young people like him.
Yeah.
Like we cannot save, but he can save. That I see the vision.
So anyway, all that being said,
But Johnny
I
is
want to invite Mom
correct.
to look at this, to step back and not look at it in such a macro level, right? It's true that, you know, that there are imperfect Christians. Just,
How
you know,
about all
they're
those
just people.
preachers?
And
Oh,
imperfect
how about those priests
televangelists
who are
that,
doing all the harming all the children? with
right, yeah,
God
there's-
said-
Pedophilia.
yeah,
Please,
there's-
these
there's
things make
evil
me
in the
sick
world.
to my stomach.
Right.
That is Jesus said.
They'll
about
never-
that.
They'll never have the download I had.
But
Never.
anyway, what I
Because
wanted to
they're
say
too
is,
sinful.
You can find that download in
Mhm.
here.
Yeah.
They can't. You
Jesus
can't.
said they
Once
will
you
use
have the
me
download and
to
you
earn
start
their
reading
own
this,
benefit.
You'll
right?
see more of that because you have a download.
Exactly.
poor ear, I don't want to say anything because I don't want to interrupt you, but it's just nonstop.
I'm surrounded with my loud children, and I start to become louder and louder. And he
I have to
cannot
wear
stand
that
it.
earplug on this side to keep my hearing.
Yeah, but Jesus said they will use me to earn the benefit for themselves. You know, that's what God said. That's what Jesus said.
I think in that moment,
Wait, to
that
answer grandma
revelation,
question.
then I knew, right? Then, I mean, I understand now why. If everyone had such purity of heart, we would all have the most beautiful planet. Anyone have the
You
most
do, you know,
wonderful life
is Angela-
imaginable.
Is your mother, grandmother, is she a sinful woman, guys? Is Angela a sinful woman?
All women are.
What did I-
Everybody.
But typically, I have to say that Angela is trying to be a good person. She
Yeah.
has a desire to be this good person, to be this real person.
Well, here's the
And
question.
she's not living in a world
I
of
don't wanna
sin
chew that.
all the time, like most people are.
Maybe, but here's the question that I know you know the answer to.
Dirty.
Can a good person find their way into heaven without Jesus?
Absolutely not.
All right,
John
hallelujah.
14 verse 6.
Absolutely not.
And that's why we're here, to share this good news, but in such a way that it
Jasmine,
resonates
stop.
with her.
Okay, แป๊บนึงนะ
so
She
that
wants
Good
she-
point,
these
John.
here.
Yeah.
Good point.
And that's why I
Get
wanted
these
to
out.
invite Mom to take a step back and not be so concerned at the macro picture, to look at, you know, these
Okay.
groups of people, and just to look at us.
Okay, can
In our group.
answer that? Why I look at the macro? Because
Well, I
they
know that.
destroy our lives. Those people, the macro idiots, destroy our
What is that,
lives.
macro? What does that mean?
Big.
A big. Oh,
They
macro.
destroy
Macro
our
and then
lives.
microscope.
Right?
Microscope.
Those the macro idiots that are all around us. It filters down to affect us. Am I right or wrong? That's why you hear me mentioning that. Because they destroy our lives. Look at the goons who are in power. Someone like
They killed Jesus too on the
yeah,
cross.
there you go. There you
Yeah.
go.
But we don't pay attention to them.
No.
We pay attention to Jesus.
Yes.
Well, you say we. I'm talking about the masses. They affect our lives. They are ruining our lives. They're having us run away from a life that we would like.
And it's only going to get worse.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I think of the macro. I think of all the idiots because they are destroying not only our lives, the whole damn planet and all of humanity. Okay? And when I think about these mega churches and all these people going to church, nothing. They're still following them and paying them. Please, don't get me started, dear God. Don't get me started. We pay them to carry out their evil deeds, okay? That infuriates me in such a manner that
But we've got to look
I
to Jesus.
cannot
What did
tell you.
Jesus do with these people when he was alive? He didn't focus on those people. Remember, he could have made an aircraft carrier. He could have designed chemicals that would cure every disease. It was all sitting there in front of him. He could have made these tall skyscrapers in New York. He didn't do any of that stuff. He didn't focus on the politics.
Why?
He didn't focus on anything in this physical world except love and truth.
But
That's all
that
he
is-
focused on.
right,
And he was
These
part of the
idiots
creation.
are too far gone.
Yeah, but he didn't. He said, "Don't worry about them." He says, "Focus on loving each other." He didn't focus
Don't
on.
worry about
He
them.
didn't.
They're
He
destroying
didn't
our
focus
lives.
on them at
for
all. He
Christ's
focused
sake.
on loving one another. Put your energy on loving one another.
We
as
can
best
love
you,
each other.
even your enemies.
Even we can love each other
It's all
to the
gone.
highest level. That doesn't mean
Jasmine.
that the idiots,
It's all gone.
the imbeciles that are following all this crap are not going to affect our lives. They're affecting our lives whether we like it or
They
not.
always will, Angel. They always will.
Well, but my point is, wait a minute. Why are we not tend to, worry about them and just go our merry way and say, well, we'll live in this milieu of ignorance and they're so depraved that I can't even talk about it. That's how depraved they are. And just say, well, okay, we'll just go according to what's here. And you
I
can
sense
be,
anger,
I'm very angry
And-
because we
and-
support them. Even us.
and Aunt Sue brought up something. It says a lot of time when you see a lot of anger, behind it generally is fear.
Fear that they are hurting us. Absolutely. You better believe
Well,
that.
I'm
and
talking
emphasize
maybe
it.
about your anger towards
Strong.
that
I-
represents some fear.
Right, absolutely. I fear them because I know
Dead
they're
skin.
infringing on
Skin
every
peel
area of our lives.
Because when
I'd have to be deaf, dumb, and
skin
blind not to
underneath will
see
be
it.
like this
Right.
color.
You know,
Healthy.
for some reason, God keeps telling me about when God hardened Pharaoh's heart.
Mhm.
Right? For some reason,
Isn't that
keeps
interesting?
coming
I
back
always
to
find
my
that
mind.
interesting.
You know, that keeps coming
Dead
back to my
skin.
mind when
Yeah.
I'm having the discussion
It's
with Mom
this that died.
about
It'll grow back.
because a Christian might
See,
make
it'll
an
grow back.
observation and
Mhm.
say that
It'll grow back. and look
Satan
like
would
this.
not want you to be open to this, you see,
Yeah,
and
like
that
a
he
little
might
bit lighter
instill
color.
fear. Remember,
But still
in
right there.
in
See
in
the
love
lines
there
there?
is no fear, right?
So I
There is no
shouldn't
fear.
fear them, is what you're
It'll
saying.
look like
Well,
that.
I'm inviting you not to just to take a step back and not be focused on that component.
Not
for
be
the moment.
focused on that. They're infringing and impinging on every single
Well,
little
you keep going
spot in
back
our
to it.
lives.
Well, every time we go back to it, we're not able to really
Scab.
continue the discussion because we're looking at it
Dead
like
skin.
the world and
Like,
the evil in the world and how it's hurting people. We're wanting to talk to you on a personal level, right?
Well, that's
As
that's
to,
wonderful.
so that's why I want
that's
to
the
take it
greatest
back to that.
compliment.
Yes.
But you're not dealing with how I really feel that
No.
we support them and pay them to carry out the most heinous deeds that a human could ever even imagine.
Right, and
Even
that's
the
why
devil.
we're interested to hear that because your perspective, it's very, very important for us to understand that.
So
But
that's,
the key is that we keep going back there and it keeps, you know,
well,
we
you
can't
can't
go back.
answer that question.
I can, but the answer that I'm giving you, you're not understanding
You're not
or you
answering
don't agree with.
that question, Johnny, because they ultimately
I did
have
is
all
because
the
there's
power.
sin in the
There's
world.
all the
You're
power.
going to see all this
And we
fallenness in
pay them.
people.
We pay them to carry out the most evil and diabolical
Yes,
and
you
heinous
keep saying it,
crimes.
and I get it. I
Well,
understand
but I
it.
have to say it over and over. So none of this stuff matters because they are at the power of the wheels of
Because the
the levels
world have handed to the devil sin in the beginning, you know, in the book of Genesis.
But wait,
Yeah.
I wanted you to listen to what
Yeah.
Mom said. She says, none of this matters.
That's
Mhm.
correct.
So she's saying
That's
that
correct.
the Bible doesn't matter, Christianity doesn't matter, because there's all this evil and all
No,
these bad
it
things.
has infected everything.
And there's so much
Once it gets
bad.
to a certain point, it wouldn't matter. You won't even have the chance to study the Bible because you're going to be killed at birth.
He's right. He's right. He's right. I can see that what he just said. My mind can take me to that point. Of course, we have.
But wait. So let me understand it. Tell me what you're saying. What does it mean?
Eventually, you'll be killed at birth,
But
like,
before you're born.
or before you're born,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
that would prevent you from ever studying the Bible.
Well, let me ask you a question. I mean, I know a person who had
You understand why I feel the way I do.
who
Of course,
got
after all these
pregnant,
years.
and it was not in a good situation. And then she just happened to share with me that she had had an appointment and that she was planning to terminate her pregnancy. And I said to her, you know, because she was a mom and had another child, it was the greatest love of her life. And I said, you know, I encourage you to take a step back before you make that decision to not do that, not terminate that pregnancy, and to let the child come into the world. And I said that because I have learned about Christianity and why that would be a horrible thing.
And even if you
And
don't want the child, you can just put them up for adoption.
correct, but
Better than
what I
killing
wanted to share with you is you're saying that that this would not help, that this Christianity would not
Isn't it
help.
obvious?
But in this instance I'm sharing with you, the individual, I don't know if it was because of something that I said, but then invariably made the decision not to terminate the pregnancy. Had this child, and this child was a wonderful blessing to this woman. And
I'm
so,
talking about in the grand scale.
well,
like
but that's
when-
why I want to bring it back to a smaller scale. Because we can only talk about what one man can do, right? What you could do. What I can do in sharing this.
Well, in that case,
right?
the Bible might make it so that people stand up against that horrible evil and take back the country and
Did Jesus? They had just as horrible people back in his day too. Did he stand up against them, or what was his preoccupation? What was he preoccupied with? That's our example today. What did he spend his time? Stopping the people from being bad, or what else?
Well, eventually you'll have to.
I mean, what did he do? He did not stop the people from being bad. He was teaching the art of loving one another. The very last thing he said before he left is, love one another. That's his message. Love God and love one another. He wasn't preoccupied with the negativity, and there was a lot around in those days too. And, you know, I think sometimes the news teaches us to be preoccupied with things that are going on in Ukraine and Afghanistan and New York, and our own little world. Everybody, you, Alex, has your own little universe. And when you bump into people at the store and talk to them, that is your universe. That is your world. And God is with you in your world. And if you say something nice, or give a smile to somebody, or take care of Jasmine in that moment, I mean, and sharing that love, that's all God expects from us. We only have our own universe. I don't have any authority in New York.
Does God expect from us to turn
Handle our
away
own
from
universe.
evil and say, okay, go ahead. Now the evil has become so potent that it's right bearing down on us that we had to run away from the city, try to find not that this is beautiful here. You don't.
I think God has blessed all of you.
Right,
I
definitely.
think you guys are on the road, and He's put you here because you've been blessed. more than most people I know. I mean, whatever you're doing for God or your relationships, and you too, Angela, you guys have been blessed.
Oh, no doubt about
But let me ask
no
you
doubt
guys,
about it,
wouldn't
Johnny.
the greatest accomplishment that as men and women we could accomplish in this world is being in heaven and have someone come up to us and say, hey, I wanted to tell you, thanks so much. I'm here because of something that you shared with me.
Well, I'm thinking of it on a much bigger level.
But
I'm
that's the
thinking,
great
why don't I
commission.
ask the question, what are we supposed to do about all this evil stuff?
What I just said.
Okay, so in other words, you have no other suggestions?
Greater than this? I do not.
That's a profound statement.
Well, then you don't care that we support the most evil thing
Well, we
that,
keep going back to talking
Yeah.
about this on
Well,
a
we
macro
have to,
scale.
because
I
it's
wanted
bearing
to just
down
talk to
on
you
us.
about you and I and us here.
well, that's wonderful.
We can
and
start
I-
here and then we can expand out.
Right, but we have no power compared to them.
We have the
What-
greatest power because
Yeah.
our ally is the creator of the universe.
I think
Yeah.
I won my lawsuit. I believe I won my lawsuit against 5 law firms because of God.
Hallelujah.
I would have not won that lawsuit
But,
if I didn't make my prayers. I'm pretty sure.
but Larry, I also want to say that I witnessed something, right, being mom's son, that mom has one of the most divine blessings.
Yeah,
And
I believe
and I believe that once she comes to see where that is coming from, right, from this Christian and biblical perspective, I believe it's going to be one of the most transformative experiences of her life
How would it transform me in your perception?
in every way.
An example.
Well, in every way, you'll have an understanding of the Father, how he is sharing love through you,
Yes.
and then how you can, once you understand that, then give that gift to other people as well. But remember, some people have powerful blessings. You know how I would
I
say,
agree.
mom's the oracle, that through mom all these wonderful things happen. And I believe that's a divine blessing.
She pointed that out to
But
me,
I,
so I wasn't even thinking about it
Yeah.
that way.
but
God has plan for you, I know.
I believe it's powerful, and I believe that's part of the reason why he's calling us to share this with you.
You see, Angela,
That's why God told Grandma tap on her shoulder that he walk with you. That's why
She
we all
doesn't- she
here
doesn't
today.
know. She
Well-
doesn't know. He's been using her for you. So Johnny moves to San Juan Capistrano because of you. He moves here because of you.
Right.
I get into ozone and I help create this ozone
That's
company
true.
because of you.
Mhm.
And God
And
knows
wash your
how many
hands.
other people have been benefited by him using you
Uh-huh.
and your influence over people, and you don't even know.
That's
Like
the
the movie, It's
key.
a Wonderful Life, you know?
And
She
that's
has
the
no
key.
idea you're already helping the world
Mhm.
and as good as God is giving you. And maybe God is bringing you to a better awareness. That person that put his hand on your shoulder wants to know you more. I'm telling you, that's biblical. He wants to know you more. I mean, he wants you to know, yeah, I want you to know me more. That's why I put my hand on you. And he's asking, I'm going to put your son here. You helped your son.
Uh-huh.
You raised these 2 beautiful kids. And what have they done to the world? What has Johnny and Brian done to the world? What's G done to the world? And who started all that?
Grandma,
She said we wouldn't be here.
There it is.
it's true, right, Grandma?
You've
I'm
already
not
been
gonna-
working the
that's what I
Lord's
say.
stuff. Right,
Hallelujah.
Alex? You agree? She's
Yeah.
a good person, helping. Does she talk to you all the time and give you good at great advice?
And is she generous with you and giving just like the Father is in heaven? And that's the thing. She has modeled her life after that. And I don't even know how much aware of it she
You can
is.
hit this.
No, she doesn't. She's like that movie, It's a Wonderful
And
Life.
that's why I want, exactly.
Yeah.
That's a great analogy, Larry. And that's why I'm so excited for her once she gets in and gets to dig into this a little bit and, steps away from whatever anger or possibly fear of all this evil. And she takes a look at this. I believe it's going to be a
Well, it'll help me
transformative
personally or
experience.
all of us. Absolutely.
But remember, this isn't a self-help book. This is a spiritual doctrine that, is a guide.
Yeah,
to
I
do that.
understand that. I understand that. But all of you think that even if I had this ability and have this capability to do all these wondrous things, that I should carry out what I think God has given me
You have
the
been.
understanding.
Yes, that's
Well,
correct.
then, okay, they'd shoot me tomorrow. If I get women together, mothers together, and said, okay, I want to shut down every one of these laboratories, chemical and biological laboratories, and I want the mothers to march with me, yeah, I can get millions of them.
How many people have you
I'm
told about
sorry,
those laboratories, Angela?
What?
How many people have you told about those laboratories?
Oh, well, I mean, probably
20?
20 babies.
What do you think they're doing with that information?
Nothing.
Oh, I disagree with you. They're passing it along too. Once you put it in their mind, some of those people you're already doing. You actually are doing things. It's like It's a Wonderful Life. She doesn't know all the things that
She's
she's
calling
doing.
out the evil, and
She
I
doesn't-
think that's
nobody-
that's right.
She doesn't recognize what she's
right,
doing.
Alex?
Well,
If I get the mothers
No,
to
because
start
you're gonna
marching with
Against
us
you would
what?
have God's
against those
protection.
biological
Yeah,
and
because
You
chemical
would
with
have
God,
laboratories.
you have
protection.
Which
God
ones?
is my
All of
shield.
them, all over the world, because that's going to be our demise
Somewhat.
of all of God's
Some
creation. For
What do they
Christ's
do?
sake.
something.
What
I
they're
don't
producing.
understand
Some.
laboratories.
Oh, the chemical where they make the viruses, like Fauci.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay, get the women together. Okay, let's start marching. I can do that.
And you keep doing that. The Bobby thing. Remember the
I
Bobby
get it.
thing?
Biological
B-O-B-I?
Oh,
Bug
yes.
out, bug
It
in.
ain't- you
That
ain't
was your
kidding.
mom.
They'd
She was
shoot
pushing me, you
tomorrow.
know.
They'd
That
make
would have
sure
not
I had
happened
an
without your
accident
mom.
with my car.
I mean, she's doing
Plane
things
with-
in her own little
you
way
know
that
what
she
I'm
doesn't
saying?
recognize.
Yeah.
Just
that
put
she's
it on
doing
my
things.
microphone.
Well, Larry, I think that we
No.
should spend the rest of the day responding to
Actually, that's the
everyone
easiest
with
way for them
the
to get
quote,
rid of people.
"O ye of little faith."
Just a
Oh,
remote
ye.
control car.
Oh, ye of little faith. Just keep saying that.
Absolutely. And they can do it remotely.
Yeah.
They would hate me more than you could ever imagine because I would be dealing with the most vile.
Well, you see how the Pharisees responded to Jesus when he said, "My Father and your Father are not the same."
Yeah. Is that so powerful? I think it's very
They
powerful.
said, "Round up the guards. Let's bring this guy up here."
Absolutely.
How dare he
And that's
challenge our authority?
You know who they were? Those were the Sanhedrins.
The Pharisees, certainly.
Part of the Sanhedrin who runs the Israel to this day.
And did you notice
I
that
agree.
Jesus rarely had unkind words for anyone,
Yeah.
but for
But
the
for them,
Pharisees?
Really?
Yeah, I mean, he's even, there with an adulteress, and his exchange is always kind, loving, and respectful. But when the Pharisees were there, it was as if though he was speaking to Satan directly. When he spoke to Satan, he was, hey, get out of here, the way that he interacted with him was very, very different than he did with
Anyone else?
Remember the download I had from the devil
Yes.
in my bedroom?
Yes.
That was another download.
That was a download.
He was there.
You've got a lot of
Alex, sweetheart,
downloads.
could I have just a little bit more coffee?
Okay. Where's your coffee cup?
Oh, here, sweetheart, here. Thank you. Well, I think
All
that was
right, well,
another
cheers.
download that I had.
Oh.
Okay.
Sorry.
That was a download.
Hang on,
Who is it? But anyway, Larry, I feel if they saw me making a lot of progress, which any mother would respond to me and say, oh yes, how about that fireman I was speaking to? He said, Scott, would you please come and speak to our fireman? I said, I think that's so important what you're saying. Oh yeah, of course, we're not accepted, bunch of dumb-dumbs that don't. Are they going to, well, yeah, some of them would say, yes, we're going to march with you. But you can't go against such power, evil. Okay, we can, as a family, we can be aware and help each other in a very beautiful way, and we could be happy. But you can't do anything about it.
You know where the most dangerous place in the world is today? You know where the most dangerous?
up here? Yes.
Chicago? How about you? Where's the most dangerous place in the world
You
today?
talk about a place.
Oh,
In the world, the most dangerous place in the
You
world.
talk about country.
Just
I
any place.
think so
Any
much,
place in
Alex.
the world.
Yeah.
What's the
Sweetheart, what
most
do you think
dangerous
about
place
my-
in the world?
Alex,
What?
what do you think about my
In the grow
viewpoint
moment.
of what's going
Huh?
But
on?
in the grow moment.
What do you
In the
think?
womb,
Womb.
in the vagina of a
Oh.
woman,
Oh.
because they're killing
Oh yeah.
Six-
uh-huh.
what is it, 600 million
Mhm.
babies around the world a
Mhm.
year or something. It's huge. I mean, so all these millions of
Child
babies are being
sacrifice.
killed from the inside the woman. So inside the woman is the most dangerous place for human life in the
Oh my
world to
goodness.
this day.
How horrible.
That's
Huh.
so we worry about what's
I
happening
believe
to
it.
us.
Wow.
But how about those
Child
little children that can't even
Ugh.
get out into the world,
Yeah.
you know?
That's so horrible.
So your viewpoint, I think everyone's correct. So it's hard to decide.
Right. Well, Alex is right because we all have such
Yep.
good points that are very significant. But I can just tell you, like you said, we don't have to. The download.
Yes.
You don't know who those people are going to be that God selects for the download.
No.
You don't know who they are.
Yeah. And I don't think a lot of people are getting downloads because they don't seek out a download.
They're not sincere. You cannot have that attachment to
They're
God.
seeking God.
You're
You gotta
not
be seeking
But
God.
it has to be so pure, like a child. Do I always look at how a child is so sincere? So anyway, sweetheart,
But Jesus said, you know, you come to the Father with the spirit of a child.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, of course.
You do that. You can do that
Yes, I understand
more than
that
most people.
more than probably 99%.
If you notice the children behavior, right?
Are
They
there
trust
eggs?
everything when adults
Eggs in
say
the
something.
bottom drawer.
Because
All the way in the
they're
bottom.
so pure.
Are there
They
eggs on the
trust,
avocado
they
toast?
believe. You know, if the father said, "I'm gonna give you bicycle," they believe. You know, like that. Like that. Is we should be like that with trust in our Father in heaven.
All right, guys, would you like to close with a
Okay.
prayer?
Yes.
Well, wait a minute.
What a
No one answered me about our wish. How we make each other happy. Like you brought me for my birthday. You both brought me that beautiful set. I don't think it has. I'm not saying it has to be material. I just said something that we could do for each other.
Mhm.
And with
Well, I was
each
going to
other.
get you guys a self-warming cup.
Oh, that would be nice. How about a cane? I never found my cane, John. That
Or you
kind
get
that
Mama
stands
cane.
up. You don't, can't fall.
But
over.
Larry said that we should get you a shillelagh. You think Mom should have a
What
shillelagh?
is
She
that?
could go after the kids with it when they misbehave. Mom's covered with her shillelagh.
The rat.
Well, Johnny, let me just ask you before you close. Does that make sense to you? You understand why I'm so hurt inside?
Yes, but I think that the anger and the hurt is coming from fear, and so I believe that if we look at that together, it will. I feel that your heart will be less hardened to learning more.
Because my heart isn't hardened. That's why I can see with evil with such clarity that it crushes me inside. You don't understand the
Well,
impact it has on me.
but I believe that to really fulfill the gift that you have, that we all recognize, I invite you to be open to this and learning about Christianity.
What is it in there that you think would
Everything.
give me those gifts that I've already experienced? Bless you.
I believe that that reading the Bible and learning these things, it's not an education, it's an experience. It's transformative. And I believe that once, couple that with the gifts that you already have, you'd be a force to be reckoned with as far as being a Christian.
You love the person that touched your shoulder, right?
Oh, yes.
You want to know him
absolutely.
more?
Oh, yes.
You can find him right in here. Now that you know him, you can see him, you can recognize him more in here. Definitely. And it's not that easy, even for the greatest Christian. It's not easy to find. But once you have a download or two, and you say, "I want to find you, God," you're more apt to find him in places like this. This is not the only place you'll find him, but
in other words, do you want me then, let's say, your wish would be I would read the Bible and then I would start proselytizing, get the women together, Mothers in March, to close all those
no. Your goal is
laboratories in the
your
world?
goal is just to know Christ. Your goal
So
right
then
now.
it goes down to a very selfish me and what I can do for my family.
Greatest
And to hell
commandment.
with the rest of the world and what they're doing to it and all the children that are going to suffer from it
He
horribly.
wants you to love others as you love yourself.
What has that got to
Even
do
our
with my
enemies,
statement?
pray for them. That's how we learn.
Pray for them.
Yes, believe me or not.
But
Yeah.
when you say pray for them, how can that prayers go against such evil? Are
Do you love
talking
Maxine
about?
Waters?
Mom,
Angela?
you know, we
No, of
praying for
course
the
Do you
person.
hate Maxine Waters?
She is such a diabolical.
You're supposed to love her. Now that I have a hard time understanding that commandment. But we're supposed to love even our enemies.
You know when
Maybe they know not what they do. Right?
I love that statement.
Yeah, that's
Forgive
true.
them.
Yeah. You know, we don't hate people. We hate the evil in them. We pray for the person. We didn't pray for the evil.
You know what, Jean?
You know.
That's correct what you're saying, but it's not going to do any good.
I believe we do very good. I believe.
Jean, let me give you one thing, okay? One thing. What Larry Howard read to me yesterday about the prions. You can't even have a bite of food, and you will get the prions that go directly into your system.
The protein meat, you mean the meats?
Yes.
You're more
Yes.
apt to.
And you tell me how prayers, and when all of these things are going on, and I agree with you, prayers are very powerful and wonderful. But if I say to you, there are all these things, think about what they're doing to us.
Well, we believe that
That
the
is-
supernatural world
Yeah.
intersects with the physical world,
Okay?
and it has an influence over it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
And
sure
to
it
me,
does.
you may at least when you pray, you don't know even it's work or not, but when you pray, you release that stress, that, oh, how is gonna fix this, how is gonna, and at least that's how I see in the prayer when I get so stressed, what we gonna do, what we gonna eat, that the world is, very dangerous
I think they
now.
have invaded
And
that world.
when you pray, you more release, and because you leave it to God, you cannot fix it. You're not God. We cannot fix it. It's God.
They
can
have
fix it.
invaded every world, everywhere. Everything you think and say has been invaded with their poison. You do not go against forces like this.
Well, I think that maybe it's being pointed out to you for an important reason.
I think so. I think
And maybe we don't
Johnny's
understand it. However, I do believe that it's interfering with your ability to learn more about these,
Well,
these
sweetheart,
things we want to
right. Okay,
share.
these people are already dead inside.
They all dead until they
Well,
born
we're always
again.
talking about these other people, and that's
Yeah.
why I was saying I just
Yeah.
wanted to. keep
They're
it-
affecting us,
Mom,
for Christ's sakes.
everyone in the world here, they are dead in the spirit until
Right.
they born again
Right.
with
Okay.
Jesus.
With all that going
That's
on,
what I
see
believe.
all these ignoramuses and all this evil stuff, it affects us, whether you want to look at it or not. Prayers cannot work against them. I mean, they might, but it's so insignificant, you don't even see it, and it doesn't matter. And at the meantime, they're encroaching and going full steam ahead at such speed to destroy all of humanity.
But Angela, how do you know prayer has not been working? What we see today
Well, I
may
can
be
look
the
around
result
me.
of great prayer. It could be 1,000 times worse.
Well,
And prayer has been pushing back the
I agree with you.
and we don't know
Yes.
because we're seeing this, and we don't know without if you took prayer out of the equation,
Uh-huh.
where would we all be today?
I think prayer
know.
is wonderful, but even prayer cannot go against that. A speck of dust communicates with them, our conversation. They know it all, what we said
Larry,
right now. They
Mom
know.
is focused on Satan's law firm of
Yes.
Epstein, Weinstein, and Wiener.
That's correct.
It's Satan's law firm: Epstein, Weinstein, and Wiener.
If those men,
Right?
if those men could
these
use
guys.
that power for good, which I know they're not going to, which I know for sure they're not going to use it for good. I think all the prayers in the world are not good. They're so imbued with evilness